Welcome everyone. Justin Matthew Paperny coming to you today with this new video. I don't think I've actually ever said my middle name Matthew in a video, but there it is. I'm going live and I'm going to hope to provide value to all of you today as you're going through this experience. So I know you're busy. I want to jump right in. In fact, I only have like 15 minutes or less, so I know I ramble a little bit. I'm going to try to get there. My daughter and I are going to go to the park and throw a boomerang for some background if you're still with me. She's obsessed with this pop singer named JoJo Siwa, and the songs are kind of addicting. You hear it 7,000 times, you're eventually going to come to like the songs. Anyway, she loves the song Boomerang, which is her big hit. And I said, well, why don't we actually buy a boomerang? And I'm not sure at 5 she actually knew what a boomerang is or was. I don't know if I can speak today. But I said, I'm going to buy one. She said, great, whatever it is. So I bought it. We're going to go to the park and we're going to throw it in like 15 minutes. She's getting ready. So I'm really excited to spend time with her, but also to spend time with you. And I'm grateful for your attention. So let me jump right in with this video, how social media helps send, land, go, wherever, send a husband and wife to federal prison. And they shouldn't be going to federal prison. For some background, I wrote in like a prison blog 11 years ago, something kind of crude. And it's not my, I've never sworn in a video. There are prison channels that swear and they get into the prison life. That is so not my shtick. Okay. I'm educational. I'm preparing for sentencing, prison, success. I don't really watch those other channels. I'm on YouTube to share knowledge and I watch a lot of golf. Okay. That's it. So I know a lot of these other channels swear and get into, that's not what I do. So you're here because you're in the system. You want to emerge successfully. So I said something like 11 years ago, as crude as I'm ever going to write in a blog or say in a video, which was some defendants need permission. Some defendants need a permission to urinate from their lawyer, because I was working and interviewing guys in jail who were like, I wanted to prepare. I wanted to take action, but my lawyer wouldn't let me. I wanted to do this and do that, but my lawyer is a former AUSA who said, you paid me a lot of money to do everything. So this family, husband and wife, really nice couple, called 10 or 11 months ago, maybe 9 months, I don't know, middle of June, something like that, last year, maybe it was a year, and said, we've been watching your videos and we read your book. Here, hold on. Actually, the shameless plug for the book, still going strong after 11 years, okay? If you read this book, I really believe you'll be 50% of the way there. Go get the book for free at White Collar Advice. All you have to do is read it. And if you'd love to chat with me, you can call me. I'm friendly, though I'm told I'm not the best small talker in the world. How's the weather? What's new? Did you see any movies? I don't know. Let's just get right to work and see if we can help you. So his family said, we read the book, watched the videos. They actually also watched the 2 videos where my business partner, Michael Santos, interviewed Judge Bough and Judge Bennett. And it is, those videos with the judges are so powerful because it's coming from a federal judge. It's like sort of a big deal. So you may think, oh, it's in Justin's interest to say this because he wants me to call him. Maybe, I suppose. I know we can help you. We've helped a lot of people. But hearing from a federal judge about how you should prepare for sentencing is kind of a big deal. I'd listen. So this family had listened to the judges, wanted to proceed, but they were scared to death from their lawyer who wouldn't take the time to review my work or speak with our clients, read my books. Whatever, it was fine. I said, you've got to exercise your own judgment. And I didn't hear from them. And sometimes that happens in this space. I'm not like the most aggressive dude. I'll follow up. Would you like to communicate again? But that's it, right? You have to make your own decision. What's unfortunate in that case is they knew exactly what they needed to do and they didn't do it. How many people have no idea what to do? So they don't know what to do. But if you actually know what to do and don't do it when you've been told it from a federal judge is odd. It's a little strange, but they were scared to death from their lawyer, who I frequently say, you can't urinate unless your lawyer says so. That's what I wrote 11 years ago. I'm sticking to it. Let's talk about that for a moment. So unfortunately, last week, I got a call from this husband and wife, and they were distraught and devastated. And the call opened up with, you were right, you were right, you were right. I said, I don't like hearing those words to begin a call. It means something didn't go well. And they said, no, it didn't go well. Things have gone horrifically. The whole goal, Justin, was to keep my wife out of prison. And now we're both going. I said, okay, well, what happened? So besides the fact they didn't take the time to create a powerful sentencing narrative other than 1 page of boilerplate, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. And I'm working and I have a great job. And why would you send me to prison if I'm working and I can pay back the money? That was essentially the narrative. There's actually been rulings, for example, a few years ago, the 10th Circuit ruled that just because you have money in a job shouldn't preclude someone going to prison. What happens if you don't have a job and you don't have any money? That's not fair. So you should get a better sentence if you have money in a job. That's essentially how the 10th Circuit ruled. So it's not the best argument. Maybe the lawyer can make that argument. Now, I understand a lawyer in a sentencing memorandum could argue that it's in the interest of the victims and the court for the defendant to work so they can work and pay restitution. I just don't think it's an argument that a defendant should make in the sentencing memorandum. or the sentencing narrative. The narrative should convey the points we talk about with judges, and I've shared with Dr. Phil, and we've been communicating to our clients for 10, 11, 12 years. Remorse, shame, lessons learned, plan moving forward. How will you never return to another courtroom? And as I expressed to these defendants 10, 11 months ago, and as I learned from them on their call, they didn't do any of that. But worse, because the wife had a recommended guideline range of like probation, home confinement. He was potentially out, was looking at some time. He's going to go to Miami Federal Prison Camp. So I said, what happened? Walk me through it. Well, let's not forget that everyone in the system needs to understand the objective of the stakeholders. The stakeholders of a prosecutor is to advance their career, to advance their agenda. Someday they'll be a defense attorney. How many of you have a defense attorney and tout that he was a former U.S. attorney? Well, that's why they do it. It helps them command a big wage. So these prosecutors have a narrative or a version that you're a criminal, that your conduct may not be aberrational, that everything you do is only to advance your own interest, which is to stay out of prison. And if you say you're sorry, it's only because you got caught. So you've got to understand the stakeholders. And in this case, this husband and wife forgot that they were always being watched. Big Brother is always watching. Did you read Orwell's book, 1984? Good book, worth reading, or listen to the audiobook. Who really reads books anymore? They forgot that they were being watched by Big Brother. They forgot that under everything they say or write could be scrutinized by someone who's looking to punish them unnecessarily. Years ago, I contributed to a TV show with my friend Andrew Ross Sorkin called White Collar Convicts, Life on the Inside. And he asked me, Justin, should prisoners or defendants engage in social media? And my response was, maybe, perhaps. Depends what their message is. In this case, this husband and wife were on Facebook, good old Facebook. And someone had posted something about their case. Someone had come across their Department of Justice press release, and they posted it really terribly on their timeline. Almost done so like in a supportive way, like, hey, I read this. I hope you're okay. How can I help? Total nonsense. Someone was taking the Schadenfreude, right? Someone was taking pleasure in their pain. They felt the need to post it. And initially they didn't respond. But of course, with Facebook, conversations begin to build and people have responses. And this husband and wife were involved in a case where they don't really feel as if they did anything wrong. Let me say it again. They don't feel like it should have been handled criminally, at worst, civilly. And what's really interesting is this husband and wife saw a video I filmed like 2 years ago called Why Some Innocent White-Collar Defendants Plead Guilty. And in that video, I expressed that some white-collar defendants plead guilty, even if they're innocent, only because they know they're not going to prevail at trial. In that video, I suggest you need to look at sentencing or preparing for sentencing as kind of like a business deal. Not all business deals are great. Sometimes you just have to get it done. And that's why some defendants who don't feel are guilty accept a guilty plea because they don't think they're going to prevail at trial and they'd rather get a year and a day than 5 years. Get it. So they were kind of in that ballpark. Like, yeah, I kind of did it. Maybe should have been civil. Don't think it should have been criminal. Fine. Well, they could not resist the social media posts on Facebook with people responding. It was beginning to get to them in this dreaded iPhone. Oh, there she is. Got it. We're going to throw the boomerang in about 7 minutes, so I got to get there. Okay? They couldn't respond. And what happens? What does he say? He essentially responds to a comment that says, you don't know the whole truth. You don't know the facts. You don't get it. You don't understand what they're doing to me. You don't understand what they, meaning the government, is doing to rip my family apart. You should mind your own business. You don't know anything that's going on. The facts aren't the facts, and so on. Okay, that is a comment on social media. Let's talk about what that comment essentially does. Blaming, excusing, not accepting responsibility, not knowing the facts, despite signing a plea agreement that anyone could read. Then, of course, his wife, who's very kind and very nice, decides to get on board too. Why? Because she wants to support her husband. Like, I hope my wife would support me when I get some nasty comments every now and again. I try to shield her from those so she doesn't get, she doesn't need to know everything that's going on in the prison world, okay? But sometimes she sees them because we have every Mac product imaginable, the laptop, the PC, the laptop, the iPhones, the desktop, the iPad, we got it all. So she basically sees everything that comes in. And sometimes I get some not so nice messages from some people home from jail who don't necessarily like what I do because I only served 18 months in jail. But that should be a different video. So the wife came to his defense. Yes, you don't understand. I'm not even going to prison. The only reason that I pled guilty was because they indicted my husband and the whole thing. We were going to go to trial. We could have prevailed. Frankly, telling as they perceive it to be the truth. The problem is they didn't understand the stakeholders. The prosecutor thinks they plead guilty because they got caught. Prosecutor thinks they said, I'm sorry, because they got caught. Every message should align with that model. So when Andrew Ross Sorkin asks me on White Collar Convicts, is social media a good idea? Maybe, if used appropriately. If the Facebook message was, I wish you hadn't posted this on my Facebook page. It's a little strange, but let me be clear. I made some bad decisions. In retrospect, I would have done some things differently, and I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed. And that's really all I have to say. I wish you well, taking the high road with a sense of humility and deference, as tough as it may be. But what happened with Facebook, of course, all you have to do is a little Command Shift 4 on your computer, take a screenshot of it, and lo and behold, one of the people who saw that Facebook post knew someone who was a supposed victim of their crime. And of course, you know what happens next. If you don't, I'm going to tell you because I have less than 5 minutes to wrap up this video. Screenshot, send it to the prosecutor. Boom. Boom, just like that. You have a defendant that says, I'm sorry, who's accepted responsibility by signing a plea agreement, right? It's kind of a boilerplate sentencing narrative that his lawyer somehow approved. So I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. I love my family. I love my kids. Don't send me to prison. I have a good job. I can pay back the restitution. Okay, all things judges expect to hear. I mean, you probably shouldn't say that anyway. But that's better than nothing, I suppose. But in this case, there was this hard evidence of essentially on social media responding to someone who was writing about their, trying to set the record straight, not looking at this like a business deal, like I just got to get it done and get the best outcome. And of course, what happened at sentencing? Of course. The prosecutor shared this message, and apparently there were some other messages where this defendant was seeking to escape any responsibility for his criminal conduct, and his wife, because she was supporting him. She, of course, never should have been indicted to begin with. That was totally absurd. They indict her to compel him to plead guilty, but that should also be a separate video, but there's only so much I can do. So at the sentencing hearing, he issues a beautiful statement. I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. I've accepted responsibility. Yet they have this post-offense conduct, which is him essentially saying, you don't know the facts. I didn't do it. It's not true. I signed a bogus plea. And it was incredibly off-putting both to the government, to his lawyer who didn't know about it, who was caught off guard. Can't blame the lawyer for that. He didn't know. And of course, the judge, who was teetering between a home confinement sentence for the wife and a shorter sentence for him. In the end, it didn't go great because they were both sentenced to imprisonment. So when they reached out to me and said, you're right, you're right, you're right, it was on a number of facts. One, they should have taken more initiative to convey through their own efforts why they're worthy of mercy. They should have followed the advice from federal judges whom we have interviewed on YouTube. So for those of you watching, you think Justin wants me to call him because he's going to try to sell me. Maybe. I believe in what I do. I think we're the best in the world at what we do. I believe that. I'm going to suggest that you work with our team to prepare for the next phase. So it may be in our interest to talk about that. But they heard it directly from federal judges. The lawyer said, no, it's not so. It's like, it's so obvious. It's right in front of you. They chose not to do anything. And they continue to make some bad decisions leading up towards sentencing. So all of you, I'm not telling you not to use social media. That is not the point of this message. As I told Andrew Ross Sorkin for the third time in this video, it depends. Maybe how well are you using it? It's great to be on Facebook if the message is consistent with who you're trying to become. You are asking the world to juxtapose who you were before prison and who you are going to become after sentencing or prison. If you can work to create a new record that demonstrates why you're worthy of a second opportunity, I would love nothing more for that prosecutor to come across that message and have it be shared with the prosecutor. I would love nothing more than your lawyer to highlight your community service work or your efforts to make amends and contribute and give. I would love nothing more. So social media can be an effective, powerful tool if used well. So the point of this video, social media, pro and a con. Use it effectively. This husband and wife did not. And as a result of bad choices and a very impetuous response to a very inappropriate Facebook post, the prosecutor got some evidence that worked against them. Think about every text message you send, right? It's kind of what gets us into trouble in the first place. We don't think how everything we think, say, and do can influence the rest of our life. Well, you've got to do this. I just hit the microphone, forgive me. You've got to do the same thing in the post-defense conduct stage, right? You can't create this narrative that your conduct was aberrational and you were swept in and you continue to make bad decisions. In a separate video I'll film, I got a call from a doctor who's home who opened up a line of credit and he's going back to jail for 90 days because he didn't disclose it. Why? The probation officer thinks he's a criminal, thinks he's a cheat, doesn't see him for who he's trying to become or lessons that he's learned. So look, I'm so grateful that you give me your attention and time. I really hope you find value in these videos. But again, it only works if you implement what I teach. So I'm encouraging you to be on social media. I'm encouraging you to be on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm encouraging you to build your brand or your business to document what you've learned through this experience. But never forget, the big brother is always watching, and there are people that will take pleasure in your pain. There will be people that will enjoy the fact that you're struggling and down, and they will seek to exploit that and take advantage of it and make it more miserable for you, even if behind the scenes they're telling you that they support you. It's okay to be somewhat cynical as you're approaching, as you're going through this experience. It's new for a lot of people to come across a convicted felon or have a loved one going. It's new, so you've got to be strong and think differently and assess everything you think, say, and do on Facebook, Instagram, text message, email. Because if you don't, one slip up, one mistake, one text, one inappropriate comment can derail everything you're seeking to build. So I really hope you found value in this video. I look forward to returning soon. I know I'm going to get out of this hot sweater because it's like 84 degrees in Irvine. I'm going to put on a t-shirt. I'm going to go run around the park with my beautiful daughter and throw the boomerang. Subscribe if you like this video or channel. Back soon. Bye-bye.